apparently it's happening. Apparently I am streaming on both YouTube and TikTok. So I don't know. I have a YouTube channel or YouTube whatever. I don't know what you call it. Yeah. Hopefully we get some traction over there. I have no idea what to expect. I have like no followers over there, like maybe 30 followers. Since obviously I've only really done stuff here. I have some videos posted up over there, but all my actual activity is here on TikTok. So, but we're going to try to see if we can get the guest box open here and start bringing folks in. Hopefully we can have some good conversations. We'll see. It's always kind of a crapshoot how the conversations are actually going to go. Audio's doubled. Now is the audio doubled? It sounds like the audio was doubled over on YouTube. Let me know if it's still doubled over there. Okay, because it seems like... I think that I fixed it. We'll have to see whether or not I actually fixed it. But hopefully this will give us... oh, perfect. Fantastic. So it seems like it's working over there. What do I think about contingency argument? Well, if somebody wants to present the contingency argument for their theistic belief, I'd be happy to have that conversation. It's certainly a conversation I've had before, and I'm sure it'll be a conversation I have again. I don't really know how this double streaming thing is going to go. Oh, thanks, Obelisk, for confirming that I did get it fixed. I don't know how this double streaming thing is going to go. We shall find out. Hopefully it will work well, but like I said, just don't know what to expect. But it looks like we have people in the guest box. I wasn't expecting people to jump up so quickly, so I was not prepared for that. I will get to the first person. Looks like no cosigner. I'll get to you shortly here. Just kind of doing my... Typically, it takes a little bit for people to start requesting, so I have a couple minutes to like get things set up or whatever. I don't have to be like immediately ready to go, but it seems like people were raring to talk today. So give me one quick second, no cosigner, and I will start bringing people up. While I'm getting finishing setup, I will just say that I want the people I talk to, I want to make sure that you are 18 plus, that you are someone who believes in a God, that you are a theist, and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that provides rational justification for that God belief. If you are watching on YouTube, which I have no idea how many people are over there, doesn't look like many, but if you are over there, you're going to have to come to my hey, Carbon-Based Logic. If you are on YouTube and you want to join the conversation, you'll have to come to my TikTok. Well, Obelisk, I'm not quite so fancy. Maybe I should only do a vertical stream on YouTube and not a horizontal one, but personally, I don't like vertical streams, so, I mean, that's just my bias, but maybe verticals do better, and that's what I should do. I don't know. But we'll go ahead and bring in our first guest, and hopefully we can have some good conversations this evening. Hi, no cosigner. Are you at least 18?
Yeah.
What year were you born?
That's a good question. 98.
All right. What God do you believe in?
The creator of all things.
Okay. Which one?
There's no which one. There's only one.
Does your God have a name? Does it have a religion, a book?
Now the way you asking it, it's a good question because my God does have a name. Now, does it have a religion in the book? Not necessarily so, but in a sense it does too. Is like an oxymoron of a statement because honestly, like with the questions you would ask,
I don't need all of this. I don't need all of this. All I need is for you to actually tell me what God you believe in. That's it. That's all I need you to tell me. I don't need the dance. I don't need the games.
What I'm saying is that for your level, the all-powerful God I know wouldn't need a book in general. So, like, I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, my God. So you can't tell me what God you believe in?
I just told you.
You did not tell me. You still haven't told me. I have to ask you a bunch of times. I'm asking you directly, what God do you believe in? If you're not able to directly answer that question, then I'll just move on to the next person. What God do you believe in?
Okay, and I'll say it one more time: the Creator of all
Okay,
things.
fantastic. So you can't tell me what God you believe in. Like I said, I'll move on to the next person. Hopefully, somebody who is capable of answering that question. Um, Hi, Chris. Are you at least 18?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe come back someday if you ever. Whoa, what happened? What just happened? TikTok is being crazy. Okay. Um. So, all right. Let's take a look here. It looks like we have a couple people over on YouTube, so that's cool. But yeah, we will see if we can have an actual conversation. Looks like maybe your name is Tai Tai. Are you at least 18?
Yeah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. What God do you believe in?
So I grew up,
I'm sorry?
better known as Yahweh in the Bible,
Okay, you believe in the Christian God?
Jehovah God. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I used to believe
Mm-hmm.
Jehovah God. But since you know how the world's been lately,
We understand that my
past few
question was,
years,
what
I've
God do you
kinda
believe in, right?
deteriorated from. I said Jehovah,
Okay, I asked
Christian
you,
God. Yes.
okay, you believe in the Christian God. What would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us rational justification to believe that the Christian God exists?
Well, I don't think you heard me. I said that I used to.
Okay, I asked you what God you believe in. You said Jehovah. I asked, is it the Christian God? You said, I used to believe in that. And I said, okay, I'm asking what God do you believe in right now? You said the Christian God. I said, okay, so you believe in the Christian God. You said yes. So now I ask you what God, what's the reason we should believe in it? And now you're saying you don't believe in it. So you told me you believe in it. Then you said you don't believe in it. Then you said you do believe in it. And now you're saying you don't believe in it.
I literally said that I used to believe.
Okay,
in the
I
Christian
don't
God,
care about what you
Jehovah,
used to
but how
believe.
the
I don't
world
care
is
about what you
now.
used to believe. I do not care. I'm asking you, what God do you currently believe in?
Oh, well, no God.
Okay, fantastic. I'm glad that we were able to finally figure that out. I don't know why it took so long. Yeah, so we've had like how many, three, four, five people come up, and not a single one of them can answer the question, what God you believe in, directly. I don't know why that is such a difficult question for people. I just genuinely, it's not a trick question. It's not a gotcha question. It's just tell me the God that you believe in so that I know what we're talking about. That's all I'm looking for. I don't think it's very complicated. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I don't understand because I'm an atheist. I don't know what the issue is. It makes sense to me that it's a simple question, but like I said, maybe that's just because I don't get it. Maybe there's something I'm missing here. But hopefully everything's coming through over on YouTube. Like I said, this is my very first time actually trying to do this whole multi-stream thing, so hopefully it's working correctly. But yeah, we'll see. Currently don't have anybody requesting. Okay, we do have somebody requesting. If you're requesting currently or thinking about requesting, please make sure that you are at least 18, that you believe in a God, and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would give us rational justification to believe in that God. So we'll try to have a good conversation with Brian. Hi, Brian. Are you at least 18?
Yeah, I'm 22.
Cool. And what God do you believe in?
Jesus Christ.
Fantastic. What would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us rational justification to believe in the Christian God?
Well, how are you alive right now?
Well,
How
I
are you alive
usually
right
I eat
now?
food and then I breathe. I perform other basic functions. If you're asking how I came to be alive, I would say that my parents boned. I don't like thinking about it, but unfortunately, it is a reality that it had to happen. And then my mom carried me in her womb, and then she unfortunately had to go through the hellacious experience of giving birth to a gigantic baby that ended up being me.
So what do you? All right, what do you believe in, Tubby?
So, do you have some kind of argument or evidence that would give us justification to believe in God?
You're just blind, honestly.
Okay, cool.
And
So
it's
help me
like-
see. What am I missing?
Just, I'd rather not. Do you? I don't know if this is rage bait or like, do you have nothing else better to do?
You're right. You're right. I'm the one that looks like they have nothing better to do. Yep. That you're definitely showing me. I'm the one that
I'm
looks dumb
actually
right
at
now.
work, so
Yeah.
I
Oh,
don't
totally.
know. You should repent,
Yeah.
though, 'cause
Yeah,
hell is
definitely.
hot.
So you don't
Hell is
have any
fucking
argument or
hot.
evidence?
You're gonna burn for eternity.
So what you're saying is that you
But
don't have any
should
argument or
repent
evidence?
before you burn for
Okay,
eternity.
fantastic. As long as
You
if
should
you could
repent
provide
before
an
you
argument
burn
or some
for
kind of
eternity.
evidence, then I'll repent right
I'm
now.
gonna have fun with
Yep.
you, Tubby.
I'll repent right now. Provide the argument or evidence, and I'll do it. I'll convert to Christianity right now. Give me the argument or evidence, and I'll convert.
Teletubbies.
So you don't want to convert me? I'm giving you the opportunity right now. This is your chance to convert me. Are you interested in converting
It'd be a
people?
waste.
Oh, okay. So you don't want to convert people. You don't want people to believe in God. You think it's actually a bad thing for people to believe in God?
I do believe converting people is good, but
Oh,
you
okay, well, let's
actually are
go.
a bacterium and a waste.
Mhm.
You are actually a waste of human resources.
Really? Okay.
So,
Yeah.
have a good fucking day, Teletubby.
Cool. So what you're saying is that you're a terrible oh yeah, and of course then you run away. So you're a terrible person. I gave you the opportunity to convert me. You didn't want to take it. I don't know what to conclude from that other than you didn't have an argument or you're a piece of shit or both. I mean, I don't know. Could be. But yeah, so like I said, if you're in the guest box or thinking about joining the guest box, I ask that you are 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that provides rational justification for your God belief. So we'll bring up, it looks like Need Help, and then Abdul and Golden Child and Peace Seeker. So we'll see if we can get through to everybody, or get through everybody, have all these conversations. That's the goal. See if Need Help wants to join. I need help. Are you at least 18?
Yeah.
Cool. What God do you believe in?
So I believe in the Christian God,
Cool.
the God of the Bible.
Yeah, sure. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that provides rational justification to believe in the Christian God?
Well, it's okay. So it's kind of difficult to straightforwardly explain, but I'll try my best to. So me, I believe that the Christian God, the God, that created, everything, the typical, what people say God is. But yeah, God is love. And what I mean by that, because a lot of people do get it confused. I had a conversation with a previous atheist, where you were like, oh, what? I can't just say.
So describing God isn't really going to help here. I understand that you believe in the Christian God, and I understand there are a lot of things that go along with that, and there are lots of different ways to believe in the Christian God.
Right.
I'm not really interested in getting into like the nuances of like the differences between your position and other Christians' positions, or I'm not really interested in hearing about conversations you've had with other atheists. All I'm interested in is the rational argument or some kind of evidence that would give us justification to believe the God you believe in actually does exist. That's all I want.
Okay, so it would be for me, for the rational, the logical. God is love, and so love is the evidence that for God's existence, the love
Okay.
that's in the world.
Sure,
the
so-
goodness in the world.
It sounds like you're giving an argument that something like, if love exists, then God exists, love exists, therefore God exists, right?
Correct.
Fantastic. So what would you say is the reason I should believe that if love exists, then God exists? What's the connection there?
So the connection. So I'm not fully intellectual on the atoms and how things came to so be, but love, when broken down is the time spent.
No, love is an
wanting
emotion.
To wanted to thrive.
Love is an
and
emotion.
to survive.
Love is a
Vibe.
chemical and electrical reaction in our brains. Why should I think
Well,
that
that's-
because that chemical and electrical reaction occurs in some people's brains, and maybe most people's brains, maybe even all people's brains, because that's the case, why should I think that can lead us to a belief in a God?
Well, I'm not talking about the chemical reaction within the brain.
Well, that's what love is.
That's what you believe love.
Okay, fantastic. Why should I think love is something else?
Because someone says, "Oh yeah, I have a chemical reaction in my brain called love." doesn't
No,
mean
why
that
should I
actually
believe
love
that
you.
love is something other than that chemical and electrical reaction? Don't just tell me that it's something else. Tell me why I should think it's something else.
Well, you should think it's something else because love isn't just
that's just
something that's within the brain.
Yep,
It's an
that's just
action.
stating the claim again. I want you to support that claim. Why should I believe that love exists outside the brain? It isn't just a brain process.
Because even pedophiles and killers and people who do terrible things can have that chemical reaction in their brain and oh well we can say oh they love me. No, they don't.
You're saying that it's not possible for someone who does bad things to also have love? Because as far as I know, there are a lot of people who have experienced love and have love in their lives, but also do a lot of horrific stuff, right? Like, I don't know why I should think that there's this disconnect there. And so it sounds like all you're doing is making a bunch of claims, and then every time I ask you to support the claim that would get me to your position, you just make another claim and don't support any of it.
Well, because
So
action-
I'm going to ask you one
ahead.
more time, because I've asked you this question several times now and I haven't gotten an answer yet. I'm starting to worry that there isn't an answer coming. So I'm only going to ask one more time. What is the reason that I should believe that love, the existence of love, would lead us to God? Why should I think
Because
the
that is-
existence of love implies God's existence?
Because it has a connection with everything all around us.
Okay, again, now you're just going back to the
It-
love
it's
is
a-
something
it's a
more
part-
than a
no, it's a
chemical.
part-
Now
it's
you're
part
just
of
going back to
everything
the idea that love is something more than a chemical process, and that was again like what you needed to support. So stop making claims. If you make another claim without supporting it, I'm dropping you. Okay, I'm specifically asking you to support the claims that you're making. Why should I believe that love is anything other than just an electrical and chemical process in people's brains? If your position relies on that being true, then you should not hold your position unless you can demonstrate that that's true. Are you able to demonstrate that your claim is correct, that your claim is accurate?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, then I would say that you should stop holding your position that you hold until you can demonstrate that, okay?
Absolutely.
All right. You have a good one. Hey, I mean, at least it was an honest conversation. So I'm going to put that in my notes. Okay, fantastic. So we are going to move on to, looks like we have Golden Child and then Peace Seeker. If you're in the guest box or thinking about joining, please make sure you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification for God belief. All right. Let's see if Golden Child wants to talk. Hi, Golden Child. Are you at least 18?
Hello. Hello there.
Are you at least 18?
I'm 40 years old.
Oh, same. What God do you believe in?
I was raised extremely Christian, and I've been through horrific things all my life and supernatural things that
Okay, you understand that wasn't my question, right?
Well, I have two different beliefs on my personal religion. I'm trying to get to you to explain that religion and spirituality are exactly the same.
That has nothing to do with my question. Do you understand the question that I asked you?
You want to know what my religion was?
Nope.
Can you ask the question again?
Absolutely. What God do you believe in?
I believe in the Holy Spirit as God.
Okay, so you believe in like some version of the Christian God?
I believe the Most High Spirit God is invisible. It's our answer.
So I ask you a yes or no question. Yes or no questions only need yes or no answers. If you want to expand after the yes or no, that's okay, but you can't not give the yes or no. That's dodging the question. So so is it the case that you believe in some version of the Christian God?
Absolutely.
Okay, fantastic. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us rational justification to believe the Christian God exists?
I'm in the Bible.
I'm sorry, what?
I am in the Bible. I am the royal bloodline of Jesus and the return of Christ. Do you see the scars on my face?
Okay.
I was murdered 8 different.
All right. Well, that sounds like somebody who maybe needs some mental help, and I don't want to. I don't want to do anything that would, potentially be like punching down or abusive in any way. So I'm just going to hope that person, maybe I misinterpreted that situation, and that person isn't, in a bad situation. But I can only go by my interpretation, I guess. Okay. So we've got Peace Seeker, then Lenexus, and then we'll go from there. But I ask if you're in the guest box or thinking about joining that you're 18 plus and have some argument or evidence for justifying your God belief. Hi, Peace Seeker. Are you at least 18?
Hi, how are you doing? Yes, I am over 18, sir.
Okay, fantastic. And what God do you believe in?
I believe in Jesus
Okay,
as my Lord and Savior.
that makes sense to me. What would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us rational justification to believe in the Christian God?
I believe that we gotta have to know that we just didn't come here by accident. I know there is a creator out there. How can I prove it to you?
Mhm.
It is impossible. I cannot.
Okay, so you don't have a way to demonstrate that God exists?
I do. I can argue with that. I mean, at least from my point of view, why? I don't really think that I came here by accident. I think 75% already been done before I even came to this planet. That I came a male.
Okay, I don't really know what you're talking about or how this is going to give us justification for a God belief. I'm specifically asking you, why should someone who cares about their beliefs being true believe that the God exists?
Well, that is what I was trying to tell you. I was giving you some rational justification of why I had to believe there is God exists.
It wasn't rational justification. You just said, I don't believe this thing. And just saying that there's a specific thing that you don't believe doesn't mean that God must be real. Like if I say I don't believe that 2 plus 2... If
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, I hear you now.
If I say that I don't believe that 2 plus 2 equals 10, that doesn't mean that I now can justify some other position just on the basis of that disbelief, right? So what I'm saying is, why should we take the positive position that God does exist?
Well, the positive position that God does exist, that I mean, at least after my research, after some experiences, I choose to believe rather than not, because if I did not, and there is God.
I understand that you choose to believe. I understand that you choose to believe, and I understand that Pascal's wager is compelling to you. I'm asking, why should I go from not believing to believing if I want to believe whatever is true?
Well, I'm gonna I'm gonna apply this on myself. If I choose not to believe, I'm going to be losing something.
Okay, we can't choose peace. We cannot choose our beliefs. We are either convinced by something or we're not convinced, right? So well, I'm asking what. Convinced. Okay, I understand that you are convinced. I'm asking what should convince me.
That is something that I cannot tell you because I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate you coming up and being honest that you don't have a way to provide the demonstration that your God exists. Maybe if you come across some kind of demonstration of that, we can talk another time. Now we'll move on to, it looks like Lenexus, and then Theist Zay, it looks like after that. And then maybe Robert. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hi, Lenexus. Are you at least 18?
I am, yeah.
Cool. And what God do you believe in?
Doesn't have a name. Referred to in ancient Egypt, I guess, as like source. I don't know, monad, I think was the name. Sorry, I don't have that specific word or translation. Spirit is like the most general sense.
Okay, do you believe in some kind of like personal being with a mind that created and sustains the universe?
Sustains, yes. A personal being, I don't like the word being because to me it sort of like attributes human characteristics like hands and so on. I don't sort of grant that.
Nope, that's not what I'm talking about. A being is just
Okay.
like a thing that exists. So, like, the planet is a being. It has being. It is a thing that exists. I am a being. You are a being.
Oh.
Rocks are beings. They are
Okay.
things that exist. So I'm just saying, is this some kind of existent thing that has mental states and created the universe?
Right. I don't know about mental states. That's too human. But
Does it
yeah, I
have
would say that
knowledge?
the same type of identification knowledge that like any inanimate object has. So like just knowing. its
Okay,
own
so it's
identity,
just like-
positioning.
okay.
And geometry. I
Okay.
guess.
Well, I hate to break it to you. You're an atheist, but welcome to
Oh.
atheism, and I hope that you have a good one. So we'll move on to Theist Zay, and hopefully we can have a good conversation with someone who actually is a theist. And I'm going to guess by the name Theist Zay that Zay probably is a theist. Hi,
Yes.
are you at least 18?
How you doing, my man? Yeah, I'm 22, brother.
Cool. And what God do you believe in?
I believe in the Christian God.
Okay, fantastic. What would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us rational justification to believe that the Christian God exists?
Not necessarily the best, but I can give it my try. You know, I do believe. Well, obviously, it's necessitated on like prior probabilities. Given that if God exists, well, obviously I have to prove God first. But given if God exists, from there it's high. It's more probable that the Christian God is true. But how I delineate between like the Judeo religious people like Christianity versus Judaism versus Islam, I would use other probabilities like accounting for historicity, prophecies that's likely to be proven, etc., etc. So
Well,
I use like
I'm
an
just-
inductive argument for Christianity, then a deductive argument for God's existence.
Yeah,
I use
so
a higher
what-
probability.
So what I'm asking you to do is
necessity.
to get me from where I'm at, which is not having a God belief, to believing in a God. If you need to take steps after
Alright,
that to
or-
get to the Christian God, that's fine. I'm just asking you to get me to believing in a God. What would convince
Oh,
me
to a God.
that a God exists?
Yeah, of course. To a God. Okay. Do you think that? Do you accept syllogisms as evidence? Do you think syllogisms as evidence or rational principles can be used to have evidence?
Yeah.
That's actually really good. Sure. Premise one is necessary and contingent truths exist. Do you agree to that?
No.
You don't think that necessary and contingent truths exists?
No. Nope.
Do you know what I mean by necessary and contingent truths?
I assume that you're using them in the modal sense, and if that's the case, then I reject that premise.
You don't think could it be the case that you put on like is it true that you put on that blue shirt, or is the shirt blue?
It's black.
I don't know. It's a nice shirt, by the way.
Yeah,
Is it
it's
true that you
Predator,
put on the
man.
shirt?
I've been wearing alien shirts, some xenomorph shirts the last couple days, so I went with
watched
Predator
all of
today.
them. The whole series, man. I love it.
Is
Is it true that you put on that black shirt?
Yeah.
Could it be the case that you put on a different shirt?
No.
That couldn't be the case?
Nope.
Okay. Is it necessary that you put on the shirt?
Yeah.
So you believe in necessary truths but not contingent truths?
Correct.
Okay, now I have to give in order to get you off of that, I have to get you off of necessitarianism, right?
Right, so you would have to demonstrate a brute contingency, because the only way that you can get contingencies to
Well, not
exist,
necess-
yes, contingency, no necessary thing can ground a contingent thing. I'm happy to give an argument for that if you want me to.
Of course, yeah, I don't understand how that will operate.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me find, I'll give you a syllogism here. Let's see, what is the syllogism I
for it,
want to
brother.
use? Well, that's not the one that I want. I'm sorry, it's going to take me, oh, this is probably the one that I'm looking for. Okay. Oh, shit, I don't have the argument that I want. But basically what it boils down to is that if necessary cause, oh, here, let's just go with this argument here. I'll put this up on my, go, TikTok Studio is so annoying sometimes. Okay, here we go. So here's what I'm going to say. Premise 1, necessary cause C is sufficient to instantiate effect E. If C is necessary and sufficient to instantiate E, then E is necessary. So E is necessary. Right? So anytime a necessary cause is sufficient to instantiate any effect, that effect must be necessary.
Wait, why is that the case?
Because if A necessarily exists and A necessarily implies B, then B necessarily exists.
Well, how do you rule out necessity by supposition? Like, for example, necessarily if I chop off your legs, you necessarily can't walk. But it doesn't mean like you can't walk in all possible worlds. How do you jump to that?
Yeah, well, if your chopping off my legs was necessary, then
Necessarily you can't walk.
right, what I'm saying is that
That's
if
necessary.
right, the cause of me not being able to walk is you chopping off my legs. So if it's necessary, if it is true in all possible worlds that you chop off my legs, then it's also true in all possible worlds that my legs are chopped off and I can't walk anymore. So if the cause is necessary, in meaning that the cause happens in all worlds, and the cause necessitates the effect in all worlds, then obviously the effect is necessary. In order for the effect to be contingent, the cause would have to be contingent. You cannot get a contingent thing grounded in a necessary thing. So what you have to have is either an infinite regress of contingent things, or you would need a brute contingency that begins a chain of contingencies. You cannot have a necessary thing grounding a contingent thing. It is simply not possible. It's logically impossible.
Yeah, I hear you, brother.
Okay, fantastic. So now that we both agree that there are no contingent truths, you can give an argument that gets us. Okay, so give me the argument for why I should believe in contingent truths.
Well, can you pull it back up, brother? I'll tell you. And remember, I'm not hostile or anything. Like, I'm new to TikTok.
I'm not trying to be hostile either. I'm just trying to stay on task.
Of course. I'm just letting you know, like, my behavior. I just want to exhibit humility. I'm not hostile. I'm not trying to come off hostile or anything. The problem that I'm having is, for one, the thing necessary cause is being assumed here. Like, you're saying necessary cause is already being assumed. Like,
yeah, I'm saying that yes, we're saying that if the cause is necessary, then the effect is necessary. That's always the case, that anytime a cause is necessary, then the effect must be necessary. It is not possible for a necessary cause to result in a contingent effect. So what you need to do is prove that that's not the case. You need to demonstrate that a necessary thing can cause a contingent thing. How would you demonstrate that?
Of course. Like, I think the example I gave by supposition, or the example I gave by supposition is like a really good example. Like,
no, the example you gave was chopping off my legs, and we're saying what you need to do is what you need to do is get from a necessary cause, so a cause that exists. Okay, so in your example didn't do that. Your example went from what you defined as a contingent cause to a contingent effect. So that's why I'm saying that your example was not analogous. It did not meet your criteria. So the criteria that you need to meet with either the definition or the example that you give next has to involve a necessary cause resulting in a contingent effect.
But brother, I'm telling you, it will follow the same analog.
Okay, so what is the necessary cause that produces contingent effects?
Of course, bro. I'm trying to answer you, my man. Because remember, like, what you're saying, like, a necessary cause C is sufficient. Oh, you took it off there.
I assumed that you had read it.
No, you're good, brother. You're good. Necessary cause C is sufficient to instantiate effect E. Well, that's just trivial. It's sufficient enough to give rise to an effect. Premise 2 is where we disagree. You're saying if C is necessary and sufficient to instantiate E, then E is necessary. That's the part where it's kind of begging the question.
Nope, it's not. What I'm saying is that
your premise is in your conclusion. Necessarily, it's begging the question.
No, it's a conditional. Do you understand the difference between a conditional and a statement?
Yeah, insofar.
So it's saying if A is true, then B is true, and then this is saying. So if you want, I could flip this around and it's just modus tollens, or excuse me, it's modus ponens. If we flip the premises 1 and 2, I'll help you out here. So this is less confusing for you. So we'll go here and then we'll go there. Well, it sounds like it is because you're saying that there's some problem with the logic here, and I'm just trying to show you. No, it's not invalid. You're saying modus ponens is invalid? Is that really your position right now?
It doesn't properly. Like, ideally you're trying to give it, but you're not.
No, what's happening is what's happening here is if A, then B, A,
therefore B.
Therefore B. That's modus ponens. Are you rejecting modus ponens?
Model you're trying to give, but
that is what's happening. A is C is necessary and sufficient to instantiate E, right? That's A. B is E is necessary. So we're saying if A, then B. This right here is A. That's confirming A. And so then the conclusion is therefore B. This is just modus ponens.
course. And do you think begging the question is a fallacy?
Yeah, begging the question is a fallacy. Fortunately, I'm just doing modus ponens, which is not begging the question.
Of course, brother.
Okay,
Can I
fantastic.
Can I respond and tell you how I think you are?
Hey, go for it.
Of course, I appreciate you, my man. You see, because remember, begging the question is just if your premises.
Nope, you don't have to explain to me what begging the question is. I already said I know what it is.
It's not just you. I mean,
I don't give a fuck. Just talk to me. Tell me what I'm doing that's begging the question.
All right, my man. Because premise one says then E is necessary.
So you don't know what a conditional is?
So, no. It says then E is necessary.
Yeah, so then what you're saying is that modus ponens is inherently question begging, because you see how B is in premise 1 in modus ponens? You see how it says if A then B? That means B has to be in premise 1, even though B is the conclusion. But because this is a conditional, it's not begging the question. It's saying if this thing is true, then that thing is true. Then the next premise says that that antecedent thing is true. So now we get to say the consequent is true. So just saying that the conclusion is the consequent in a conditional premise is not begging the question. If you don't understand that, then we shouldn't be talking about logic. Do you want to talk about something that's actually within your wheelhouse?
I'm a logician.
No, you're not a logician. If you think that modus ponens is begging the question, you're not a logician.
I noticed. Well, can I just ask you, what do you think begging the question is? Let's make sure we agree to the same terms here.
Yeah, begging the question is when the conclusion is assumed in the premises.
Okay, so anytime you see a premise and it's mentioned in your conclusion, therefore it's begging the question, correct?
Nope. No, if the conclusion is like the consequent of a conditional,
yeah,
that is not begging the question.
Oh yeah, that's not begging the question.
Yeah, and that's what's happening right here. Stop. You said nope, you said if the conclusion is the consequent of a conditional premise, that is not begging the question. Do you still agree to this? You still agree to this?
Of course, my man.
Okay, fantastic. Well, here's what's happening. What's happening is the conclusion is the consequent in this conditional premise. You just agreed that that's not begging the question, so now we can move on from this stupid begging the question thing. So you just hold on. You just said that if the if the conclusion is the consequent of a conditional premise, then that is not begging the question. The above syllogism only has the conclusion in a premise as the consequent of a conditional premise conclusion. The above syllogism is not begging the question. Okay, you're a logician. This is how it works, man. If you can't grasp this, then you don't have the boots for this hike.
I'm telling you, I grasp it perfectly.
Okay, so you agree that I'm not begging the question, right?
No, I think you are.
Okay, so you already tried and you weren't capable of doing it, so I'm moving on. I don't know what to tell you. So we'll move on and see if we can have a good conversation with somebody who doesn't want to pretend that they know logic. Insane. All right. So if you are in the guest box or you are thinking about joining the guest box, make sure that you are 18 plus, that you have some kind of argument or evidence that provides rational justification for your God belief. So we will go on to Alex. If Alex wants to join. Oh, no, Alex ran away. That's fine. So bring up Kenny. Hi, Kenny. Hello. Are you at least 18?
Yes.
Okay. And what God do you believe in? Sorry.
The Christian God. I'm a classical theist.
Okay. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us rational justification to believe in the Christian God?
Well, I just wanted you to put up that syllogism again. We can start off from there.
So
weak,
what is
right?
the best argument or evidence that would give us rational justification?
What's the argument for P1, dumb fuck, right?
Okay, so if you don't want to engage in the conversation, that's fine. You don't have to be here. No problem there. So we'll move on and see if we can have a good conversation. Hi, Tony. Are you at least 18?
Yeah.
Okay. And what God do you believe in?
I just have one question. Do you think coming up here with 90 people looking the way you do will make more people.
Okay, so we'll see if there is anybody that wants to have a conversation. Yeah, we'll see. Seems like right now, nobody actually wants to have a conversation. That's unfortunate. But I am only interested in talking to actual serious adults. So if you would like to join, feel free to request. I know you're in the request, Deathless Light. I'm only interested in talking to serious adults who are capable of having a rational conversation. Currently, we don't have anyone requesting that fits that description. So if you are, yeah, CT, Deathless Light is in the requests, but obviously, like, I'm not going to talk to somebody that ridiculous. Okay, so it looks like we do have a request. Hi, Sydney. Are you at least 18?
Hello. I do have a question though.
Are you at least 18?
Can you tell me like why you're an atheist?
Are you at least 18?
Yes, I am.
Okay. What God do you believe in?
Yes, I am.
Okay. It sounds like there's a pretty big delay. Oh, it looks like maybe they were having internet problems. I thought it was me, but seems like maybe they were having some issues. Okay. All right. We'll see if well, we can have a conversation here. Hi, Nameless. Are you at least 18?
Yeah.
Cool. And what God do you believe in?
The Christian God.
Cool. What would you say is the best argument or evidence that provides rational justification to believe in the Christian God?
Okay, for one, what Theosay was saying, I think your premise or your argument was begging the question.
And how's that? How does modus ponens beg the question?
You said if C is necessary and sufficient for E, then E is necessary. Is she not?
I said, yeah. Yep, that's a conditional. Yep. If C, so basically the form of the argument is, if P, then Q, P, therefore Q. That's modus ponens. Do you think that modus ponens is begging the question?
It can be in a syllogism. Sorry, yeah.
Okay, so you think that modus ponens is a question? You think that modus ponens is a fallacious inference rule?
Sorry?
You think that modus ponens is a fallacious inference rule? That's what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that you can most definitely beg the question in a modus ponens.
It's possible if like the support for one of the premises relies on the conclusion being true, but that isn't the case in the argument that I presented.
Yeah, but you said if C is necessary and sufficient for E, then E is necessary. When you say that, that already assumes that the sufficient cause cannot fail to produce its effect in any possible world.
Nope.
That's literally what you're doing.
No, it's an if. Do you know what a conditional is?
Yes.
If I say if A is true, then B is true, does that assume that B is true?
Say again?
If I say if A then B, does that assume that B is true?
Not exactly.
Yeah, and that was what I was doing. I said if A then B, and you're telling me that assumes B is true, and now you just said that it doesn't assume B is true. So there's a contradiction in your view. How do you want to resolve the contradiction in your view?
Okay, well, hold on. Could you bring up the argument again, like the on screen?
No, until you show the basic level of understanding of what modus ponens is, I don't see any reason to actually do that. So, yeah, I don't know what.
Are you trying to honestly debate, or are you just trying to argue?
No, I'm sick of this ridiculous. Like, if you know so little about logic that you don't know that modus ponens is a valid inference rule, then I don't know why we would have a conversation about logic. So, do you understand that modus ponens is a valid inference rule?
Yes. But
Okay,
if you-
and so what is the problem?
if you can't
What is
bring
the
up your argument?
so what is the problem with using modus ponens?
Bring your argument up on screen so that we can properly discuss this right now.
How is it that giving a modus ponens argument is begging the question?
I just explained to you.
No, you didn't.
What you're doing is assuming that all sufficient causes produce the effects necessarily.
Nope.
And that's flawed in of itself.
No,
We
that's
can't
not what
get
happened.
from this if you can't-
That's not what happened. I gave a conditional. Do you understand what a conditional is?
Yes.
Okay. So does a conditional assume the consequent?
Does a conditional assume the consequent? Hello?
I'm waiting for you to answer. Does a conditional assume the consequent?
Sure.
Okay. Thanks for demonstrating you know nothing about logic. All right. Oh, I mean, I guess if you think you can help, CT. Sorry, I didn't see your comment until just now, but I don't know what to do at this
You're
point.
good. Yeah, so they're misusing the term begging the question, and they're also misunderstanding what an if-then statement can do. I forget what the term is, but I heard somewhere that there's apparently this logical school of thought that says that for an if-then statement, that you need to also demonstrate that the connection between the if or the antecedent and the consequence are a valid connection.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
I mean,
for
that's like
example-
that's fine, and that would just be supporting the premise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
and that's
absolutely. So it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, if the
so that's
if
what
the
they were trying to say is.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying that if the contention is, I don't accept premise one because you haven't properly supported it, well, that's fine. Like, right?
Mhm.
Like, that's a valid, that's a legitimate response to a syllogism is to say, well, I don't actually accept this premise. Please provide motivation for why you think I should accept it. And then the job for the person presenting the argument is to provide that motivation, right? And if that had been the critique, I would have been happy to discuss why I think that premise should be accepted.
Yeah.
But, like,
And that's what I was saying is like, because he was saying like, you think that for every thing that is necessary, and I'm forgetting what the exact terminology was, but for every A, it leads to, or for every necessary cause, it leads to the effect also being there because of the of it being sufficient. And that critique was what helped me realize what was going on, is that they were trying to say that you hadn't justified the connection between the if and the then. That's why they were accusing you of question begging. It wasn't question begging. They were using the wrong term. So they're still wrong and everything else, but that's what they were trying to critique, was that your first premise wasn't supported in their view.
yeah, and that's fine. And I'd be happy to have that conversation if somebody wanted to actually have that conversation. Unfortunately, none of the people who wanted to come up and talk about that wanted to actually have that conversation.
Yep.
Okay.
Very different live from yesterday and from what happened this morning. I think we swapped guests.
Yeah. Well, like I told you before, Sunday was horrendous, and then Monday Monday was like fantastic. Like Monday was such a like positive stream. I had so many like just good faith guests. It was great. And then last night was a little bit rougher, but it was still really good. And now tonight has just been brutal.
Yeah. No,
But-
I hear you on that.
Well, I've got a couple people requesting, so I'm gonna move on to them. But I appreciate you trying to add some clarity, CT. I mean, it's nice to and for my own mental health, at least I know that I'm not going completely crazy because yeah, I mean obviously, modus ponens is not a question begging inference rule. But anyway, if you're in the guest box, please make sure that you are 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that provides rational justification for your God belief. We'll move on to, it looks like, Dowd Skincare or something like that, and then Jesus Christ is King is after that.
Hello?
Is it Dowd Skincare?
Yes, Dukes.
Dukes. Oh, that's even more complex.
I'd like to point out something that you forgot to mention.
Well, what, are you 18 plus?
Yes, I'm 19.
Okay, and what God do you believe in?
I believe in Jesus Christ.
Cool. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us rational justification to believe in the Christian God?
I would like to, besides that, bring up that you do a disservice to an argument by being so fucking fat and ugly.
Okay. So do you have an argument or evidence that you want to present?
I could get into it, but I just think that when you come up here looking the way you do,
Mm-hmm.
You do a disservice to your own argument.
Okay. If God is all good, why did he make me so fat and ugly?
No, you choose to be fat and ugly. God didn't make you that way, brother.
Is God all knowing?
Yes, God is all known.
Okay, so he knew that that if I existed, I would be fat and ugly, and he chose to make the world where I exist fat and ugly. So why did God do that if he's all good?
No. God made all of us perfectly imperfect, brother. We all have different strengths.
Okay, so it's God's fault that I'm fat and ugly. Well, unfortunately, that's too bad. There's nothing I can do about God making me fat and ugly. Okay, so I'm going to assume Jesus Christ is King is a Christian, and hopefully we can have a good, productive, good faith, linear conversation.
I need better testosterone.
Hello? Oh, okay. Well, I'm not really looking to talk to children. All right. I was trying to bring up the next person. We'll see if they'll come up. Weedlock, are you coming? Oh, there you are. Are you at least 18? Oh, you're off the app, and if you're off the app, I can't hear you. Looks like we're having some issues here. Maybe Weedlock can come back later. It seemed like there's some kind of connection problem. All right, looks like we'll move on to Rock. Hi, Rock. Are you at least 18?
Yeah.
Okay. And what God do you believe in?
I believe in the God of the Jewish people, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Okay. So like the God of the Torah?
Yeah.
Cool. And you don't believe in the God of the New Testament?
The Trinity, I believe that Jesus says heaven and earth shall cease before one letter of the law shall cease. And he tells you need to be better than the sages and the Pharisees.
That doesn't answer my question. None of that answered my question. Do you believe that Jesus was God incarnate who died and resurrected to save us from our sins?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Not in that way.
Okay, fantastic. So what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us rational justification to believe in a God?
I wouldn't try to attack it from that angle because the Torah itself says, I give you the choice. I give you the life, the death, the blessing, and the curse.
Okay, well, all I'm interested in,
life.
the only conversation I'm interested in having is about whether or not there's rational justification to believe in a God. Is that a conversation that you're prepared to have?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. What's the rational justification to believe in God?
I believe that if you follow the doctrine, like the Torah says, if you follow my law, I will give you blessing, and if not, I will give you curse. So if you follow the doctrine, do not unalive, do not steal, do not covet your neighbor.
Okay, so you're saying that if you follow the doctrine and you're blessed, then God is real. People who follow the doctrine are blessed, therefore God is real. Is that the argument?
Yeah, and that's all God wants from you, really.
Okay,
He doesn't
so
need you to believe in him per se.
Sure. So how do you demonstrate that the first premise of that argument is true? That if somebody follows the doctrine and is blessed, then that means that the God of the Torah is actually real.
Well, we see throughout history that when the Jewish people, the children of Israel, followed the law, they were blessed, and when they didn't, they fell off the face of the earth and were knocked around.
Yeah, but why does that mean that God exists?
For thousands of years.
Why does that mean God exists?
Because his promises came true, negative and positive.
No, I'm saying if I grant that every time people follow the law they are blessed, why should I then conclude that God exists from that? That's what I'm asking you to draw that connection for me, please.
Because if you look at the Torah and its span of
Yeah, that's just the claim. This is the claim again. This is the claim again. The Torah says, follow the law and you'll be blessed. And you're saying that in reality, when people follow the law, they're blessed. That's fine. I can grant all of that. I don't have an issue granting that for the sake of conversation. What I'm saying is, given that that's true, why would that mean that we have justification to believe in a God? How does that justify a God belief?
Because only the Creator can be so accurate and correct in his. There's other. Let's give a parallel, okay? if there's devil worship, yeah, or the Moloch, yeah, and he says,
Well, hold on,
unalive your
hold on.
firstborn
No,
when he's
you're
1 year old.
you're again, you're just saying that you see the correlations, and I'm agreeing that the correlations exist. I'm saying, how do we get from correlation to causation?
Well, that's you know what, you're right. We can never really prove the essence of God. You're right.
Okay, so this
What we
argument
can
isn't
prove
going
is
to
our
so
connection with him.
sure. So this argument isn't going to get us to justification for a God belief. What is an argument or some kind of evidence that would give us justification for a God belief?
Okay, well, there's only one that I can think of, and there's only one that is promised in the books, and that is, if we follow through 100% with God as our King, then He promises that He will be revealed in this world, just like He was to Adam and Eve. So
Okay, so how do
that
I
is
see
ultimate test.
how do I see that revelation?
So there's 3 commandments that we need to do.
No, how do I confirm?
commandments.
How do I confirm right now that the God exists?
So the only way to test that theory, is, according to the Tanakh, according to the Torah, is to build a temple, to put the Ark of the Covenant on the rock, on the Temple Mount, and if God's presence
Okay,
shows
so you
up,
don't
then
actually
go
have
and
any
fill it.
argument or evidence that you can provide in this conversation. Is that correct?
Right now, no.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks for your honesty.
Other
So we'll go ahead and see if there is anybody that wants to even try. I don't understand. I don't understand. I do not understand why the guests are so rough tonight. This is brutal. But yeah, maybe we can have a good conversation. Looks like we have a few people requesting. Make sure if you're requesting that you are 18 or older and that you have some kind of rational argument or evidence that would give us justification to believe in a God, in the God you believe in. Hi, Home Slice. Are you at least 18?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. And what God do you believe in?
I believe in the deity absolute.
I don't know what that means.
Well, there would be only one infinite God, according to my belief, and it's that one, the God of reality, the one that exists.
Okay, which God is that? Does it have a
It
name?
has-
Does it have a book?
It's only revealed its nature, not a name.
How did it reveal its nature?
Through several places, several books, philosophy, people, through sages throughout time, philosophers of all that time have come to realize that God must be infinite, the
Okay.
infinite source of reality.
All right. What is the argument or evidence that would give us rational justification to believe in this deity?
Well, but I've got a list of them here, but have you actually put into Grok what is the best evidence for God?
So what is the best argument or evidence that you can provide that would give us rational justification to believe in God?
Well, yeah, I am asking you. Like, have you ever done that? Have you ever done a
So
simple search?
so what is the best argument or evidence that you can provide?
So you just don't have a conversation. That's fine, but I'll talk now.
I'm asking you to have the conversation and you're refusing to do so.
I'm just because you're not going to get anything better from anybody else than Grok. All the arguments.
Okay. Well, hey, I mean, if you're admitting that you can't give an argument any better than a mindless, chatbot, then hey, I'll take your word for it. I grant that you don't have anything better than a mindless chatbot, but I'm looking for people who do. So maybe somebody else does. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. Yeah, exactly, Obelisk. I saw people in the TikTok chat mentioning that too. Like, why do we think that Grok is where we should be turning for our information? That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Okay. Grok. That was what we got from that one. All right. So we'll see if we can have a conversation here. Hi, Foofs. Are you at least 18?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. What God do you believe in?
Yeah, I just think you're a piece of shit who could not try.
Sure.
Yeah, so
And
theism.
what's the argument for?
Honestly, you.
Okay, cool. I don't know what the point is of coming up here and just being vitriolic. It doesn't really get us anywhere. But yeah, if there is anyone who actually would like to have a conversation, I'd be happy to chat. Tonight, people just apparently don't want to actually talk. I don't know what that's about. People want to just like make shit up. Okay, so if you're in the guest box, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that provides rational justification for your God belief. I1, are you at least 18?
I'm 32.
Okay. And what God do you believe in?
Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, what God do you believe in?
What was the requirement for, or not requirement, or whatever? What were you asking to join your live? I just joined, so I don't know what you were talking about.
I'm just asking that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of rational argument or evidence that would provide justification for your God belief.
Argument. What if I didn't want to argue. I've seen your lives a couple times, and I was like, man, this dude sounds good. So in like a very basic form, how would I explain to people like that I believe the same thing you do?
Okay, so you don't believe in a God?
I went to Christian churches and stuff, but I don't know. I don't really believe in it too much.
Okay. Well, the best I can tell you, I mean, if you're an atheist and you're just looking for, like, justification for the atheist position or arguments against, or responses to theist arguments, then I recommend that you watch good debaters, not me. I recommend you watch people who actually are good at this. There's people out there like Deconstruction Zone, Justin, allegedly Ian. You've got, I think Trust But Verify is good. Loeb's the Absurdist. I mean, there's lots of people out there who do a really good job. Godless Engineer is another one. I mean, there's just so many, I can't even try to think of all of them. As Catholic Thinker's saying, you could go to Catholic Thinker's channel. He's in the comments. I'm sure he'd be happy to talk to you. He's a Catholic, but, he'll have an honest conversation with you. Oh, John Cohen's another one that somebody mentioned. Yeah, there are lots of really good atheist debaters out there. I'm unfortunately not one of them, but they are out there, and I recommend that you watch them and learn from them. Another great thing that you can do is reading books. I really enjoy thinking about philosophy, so I watch a lot of philosophical people. One of my favorite, probably my favorite current philosopher is Alex Malpass. He's a really good one to watch. But yeah, I would just say go look for people who know what they're talking about and listen to what they say about where they get their ideas.
All right, thank you.
All right, have a good one. So we currently don't have anyone requesting, but if anyone would like to discuss, reasons for theistic belief, I'd be happy to have the conversation. Feel free to request. Okay, maybe we can have a conversation. We shall find out. Hi, Yako. Are you at least 18?
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
Okay. What God do you believe in?
I believe in Jesus, Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Okay. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that provides rational justification to believe in the Christian God?
Well, thinking is okay, so you got to search to find, first of all. So, I mean, prevalent in America is the church, you know what I mean? Like, if you look on a bottle of Fireball, there's a devil sign on there, right? And the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, departed from you is understanding. However, don't lean on your own understanding, because wars and stuff, they must take place,
So it sounds like a bunch of things that I would only believe if I already believed in, this God and the sources that you're getting these quotes from, but I don't believe in those things. So why should I believe that a God exists?
Okay, so it's thinking, it's drink, Dr. Ink. So Luke, okay, the answer to the universe is 42. Have you ever heard that?
Okay, do you have any serious arguments or evidence, or do you just want to quote Douglas Adams?
Well, you know what? The Bible, okay, so it's think, drink, ink. So you got it, spiritual food. So if you want to go light,
I'm just asking for some kind of argument or evidence. Is that something that you can provide?
That's what I'm providing. So if you
haven't provided either an argument or any evidence. So I'm only gonna I don't have the patience to do this all night, so I'll ask you one more time. So what would you say is the best argument or evidence that gives us justification?
It's 66 proof.
Fantastic. So I haven't heard argumentum ad fireball before. That's a new one by me, I'll be honest. But maybe somebody else can present that argument in a way that I can engage with it. I wasn't really able to grasp what I was supposed to be getting from that. So, but yeah, like I said, currently don't have anybody requesting, but I would be happy. Let me see. Argumentum add Fireball. So yeah, we'll see if somebody does actually want to talk. I'm just looking for folks who are adults, 18 plus, who have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification for the theistic position. At this point, I have not ever heard any justification for the theistic position. I've heard attempts to give that justification, but I'm hoping that someone can convince me. I would love to change my position. One of my favorite things in the world is learning new things, realizing that I was wrong about something and changing my position to better align with the actual data and with reality. So something that I would love to have happen is for someone to be able to provide that kind of justification. Now, obviously, I'm not, I'm not going to hold my breath or assume that that's going to happen. But, it would be cool if it did. Let me see. Hey, Queen Laquifa, thanks for the support and for being here, and also for just having such an awesome name. Like, what a fantastic name. Like, what a fantastic name. You didn't ask for it, CT, but I'm modding you. I don't know if I super need more mods necessarily, but like sometimes it be rough out there. All I care about is like hate speech, incitement of violence, and spam. Other than that, I don't really like. I'm not here to. Hey, Godless Engineer, I just was talking about you. That's super fucking cool. Godless Engineer, I have watched you for so long. Respect, man. Respect. That's awesome. Oh, sure. Well, I'm not trying to like mod everybody or anything like that. But I just am not seeing the people that typically mod, so I just wanted to make sure that I at least had somebody. And I know CT, we've known each other long enough to have the arc from being fucking, rams bashing their horns into each other to actually being able to get along now. So, what is happening with the guest box? Why will it not open? Like, what is going on right now? Yeah, it's been a while, Catholic Thinker. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, hi, are you at least 18?
Yeah.
Okay. What God do you believe in?
The Christian God.
Okay, and what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us rational justification to believe that the Christian God exists?
Rational justification, rational evidence, and experience.
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit.
What do you mean by rational justification?
Yeah, just some kind of. I mean, I guess I don't really know how to break it down further than that. I'm just looking for a way that we can have confidence that a God belief is accurately reflecting reality.
Okay, what you saying?
I'm sorry, I have a terrible memory and I'm distracted because my TikTok studio is being dumb. Did you say what God you believe in?
Yeah, I did. I said the Christian God.
Okay, I'm sorry. Like I said, I have really bad memory, and I've been distracted by TikTok studio being stupid. But yeah, so yeah, basically, I'm just looking for why should I think that it's accurate that a God does exist? Like when somebody says God exists, why should I believe that what they're saying is true?
Okay. So I think you should believe it. Because first, can I like maybe ask you a few questions, or would you just want me to like try to present an argument? Would you rather that?
I mean, typically I want to focus, but I mean, if your questions are gonna, help us get there because you're being, respectful and straightforward, yeah. If you have questions that you need to ask in order to clarify the direction you want to go, that's fine.
Okay. Do you think causation, something being caused, is gonna have to have a prior cause?
I don't think that simply being a cause necessitates a prior cause.
No, I said, do you think being caused, like when you like causation and everything, something that is caused, like comes into existence, for example, is caused to do so by another?
Oh, are you saying, do I think that all effects require a cause?
Yeah,
Okay.
like that.
Sure. It seems to be fairly consistent with our experience that effects require causes, but I'm also aware. Holy shit! Thanks, Godless Engineer. I'm also aware of, people who are much smarter than I am who say that we have reasons in physics now to think that there are things that we would traditionally consider to be effects that aren't associated with any cause. So
Okay.
it doesn't seem to be the case that something coming into existence always necessitates a cause.
Okay. You think there's something that can come into existence without a cause?
Yeah.
Could you give me an example?
Yeah. I would say like where do I have this stupid fucking so one example would be like in quantum physics, or if we talk about like unstable particles, they will decay into other particles. And because of that, here we go. Neutrons. So neutrons can decay spontaneously without any cause into protons, electrons, or electron neutrinos. There's no explanation for why. And you could say like it happens because it's unstable, but like there isn't actually a proximate cause that can explain why it decays when it actually does, right? Because like obviously we can say like, if something is balanced precariously and a breeze comes by and knocks it over, okay, well it was a combination of the instability and the breeze that knocked the thing over. That's not the case with these neutrinos, or excuse me, not neutrinos, neutrons. That's not the case with neutrons because they are unstable, but then there's nothing that comes and acts on them that makes them change into other particles. So yeah, that is an example of those other particles that neutrons turn into coming into existence without a cause.
Okay, so you think the particles, like, you actually think in quantum physics the particles come into existence without a cause, correct? Is that what you're saying and stuff with that example?
Yeah, that is what I have been told by PhD physicists, yes.
Okay.
And I don't have the education or the knowledge to disagree with them.
Okay, so yeah, in quantum physics and everything, the particles that I don't really see any, according to my knowledge, any PhDs or anything that agree with that. What you said, I understand what you're saying.
Sure. Well, it
Particles
sounds like
come into
neither of us are
existence.
physicists, so we probably shouldn't try to pretend that we are and that we can argue physics. If you want to say that, I'm appealing to, PhD physicists who say this, and you're going to say that a PhD physicist who say the opposite, that's fine. We can move on from it. But I'm just going to say then that, if we say that doesn't get... If we're going to reject that as an example of something coming into existence without a cause, I'm okay with that. I just would then have to take the agnostic position that I don't know whether or not things can come into existence without a cause. So you would need to provide some kind of motivation for me to accept the position that things cannot come into existence without a cause.
Okay, yeah, no, my thing is and everything. I was gonna answer like with the quantum physics and everything, with the particles, right, coming into existence. It's not that they come into existence from absolute nothing and everything.
Yep, I didn't say that they did.
Space. Yeah, exactly. So something else. If they come into existence still from something, that still means that something caused it and
Nope.
everything. It doesn't mean
Nope.
that.
That
a
does not
body
mean that.
thing or something willed it has to cause on it and everything.
Nope, that's not what that means. That's a misunderstanding. I'm sorry.
Okay, what's it called? Look, I'm gonna say this. What is it called?
So what you need to
Particles
do?
in
Hold on,
quantum
hold on.
physics.
Hey, we
The
moved.
space
Hey,
vacuum.
excuse me, Keelan. We moved on from physics. We agreed that neither of us are physicists. Our understanding of physics are at odds with each other. So we're calling that a wash, and we're saying that we can't make any ground there because neither of us have the knowledge or education or experience to make headway there. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on from that. And now, if you want me to accept the position that everything that begins to exist has a cause, you're going to have to demonstrate that. But we can't appeal to quantum physics because neither of us are physicists. Make sense?
No, I'm saying in everything. Every actual PhD in quantum physics disagrees with you that they aren't caused from nothing. That's why I'm like disagreeing. I have the knowledge to say that nobody agrees with that in quantum physics.
Okay. The fact that the thing that I just read to you was my notes that I took from a conversation with a PhD physicist means that I know that that's not accurate. So if you don't want to move on from this, then there is no conversation to have.
No, but like.
So are you willing to
No,
move
like,
on from physics or not?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So now, without appealing to physics, because neither of us is a physicist, without appealing to physics, what is a demonstration that everything that comes into existence needs a cause?
Everything that comes into existence needs a cause.
Yeah. How would you demonstrate that that's true?
Right, because coming into existence is just going to be coming into. You would agree that coming into existence is just going to be like coming into reality and everything, starting a form of reality, correct?
I agree that existence and reality are synonyms. Yes.
Yes, okay, so you agree when something comes into existence, it's coming into reality and everything. It searches reality. I think he's lagged out.
No, I'm just waiting for you to continue. You just asked if I agreed with that. I said yes, and then you said the same thing that I just agreed to again. Where are we going from there?
You said it was synonym, but okay. Yeah, anyways, if something starts within reality and everything, from what we can see in the current world and everything logically, something having a start is going to have to be pushed by something else to make it occur.
Yeah, that's just the claim again. That's just the claim again. Do you understand the difference between making a claim and supporting a claim?
Wait, it's a positive.
Do you understand the difference between making a claim and supporting a claim?
Oh my! Do you think?
Do you understand the difference between making a claim and supporting a claim?
Yes. Can I answer, please?
Yeah. Do you understand the difference between making a claim and supporting a claim? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Can you explain what supporting a claim entails?
Yeah, supporting a claim, right, is just going to be giving evidence to raise the probability of it being true. And everything.
And so, do you agree that restating the claim again is not providing support for the claim?
No, but I'm asking.
Okay, so you think that restating a claim is providing support for the same claim?
Do you know what a positive and negative claim is? Like,
so you think that restating a claim is the same as providing support for that claim?
Oh my gosh! Yeah. Okay. Again, certain claims and everything, the burden of proof would be on you and everything because you're rejecting it.
No, it's not on me. You are making the positive. You are making. Excuse me. You are making the positive claim that everything that comes into existence requires a cause. That the burden of proof is on you to demonstrate that.
No, that's a negative claim. What are you talking about? I'm making a claim. You would have to disprove that and stuff. What are you talking about?
So what you're saying? So what you're saying is that when someone makes a claim, the burden of proof is on the person who rejects the claim.
Yes, in the same.
Oh, okay, fantastic. Well, hey, then this gets really, really easy. This gets really, really easy then.
Okay.
Because my claim above me is that God is fiction. So now it's your job to disprove that, and you can only give things that I agree with because anytime. Yep. So okay. So yeah, but if you say anything that I disagree with, then I'll just make the opposite claim, and then you'll have to disprove my claim.
Well, what are you talking? Do you even know what do you know what a positive and negative claim is?
So it's now my claim that that it's not the case that everything that comes into existence requires a cause. So since now that's the claim, it's your job to prove that wrong. Go ahead.
Yes, okay. Do you know what a positive and negative claim is?
Yep, you're supposed to be demonstrating that everything that comes into existence requires a cause. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm showing it's not my
absolutely.
Burden.
Go for it.
Same way, like, wouldn't it be your burden of proof to, huh? In the same
provide
way,
the demonstration
to show that God is not fiction and everything, because you would just say there's no actual evidence to show me that God is fiction.
Nope, that's not at all. I don't know why you think that you can just assume what my position is or what arguments I would or wouldn't give. But here's the thing. If your position is defensible, defend it. Is your position defensible?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So defend the position or concede.
Okay, yeah, sure. I'll end this real quick and everything. You agree that time is going to be a measurement of change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sure. Perfect. If something is not in time, it cannot change. Correct?
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So if that thing that came into existence was outside of time first and everything, how did it actually
Nope.
come into existence?
Nope, I'm not talking about anything being outside of time.
Oh, you're not talking about that now? Okay, got it, bro. Oh my gosh, this is sad.
I never talked
You're not-
about
you're
anything
not-
being
you're not
outside. I never talked about
You know
anything
what I
being
said?
outside of time.
I'm demonstrating you why something has to have a prior cause for it to
Nope.
come into existence, bro.
No, you said that I'm committed to things
Just
being.
ignoring it everything.
You said I'm committed to things being outside of time and then coming into time. I'm not committed to anything being outside of time. So you need to give an argument that doesn't rely on a position that I don't hold. So go ahead and try the argument again.
Said, maybe?
Yeah, you said
know
that.
what I said?
You said that time is a measurement of change. You said that if something is outside of time, then it cannot change. And then you started talking about something coming into existence from outside of time, but that was never my position, so that's irrelevant to our conversation. So why don't you try again without bringing up a position that's irrelevant to the conversation?
Proving to you, bro. Okay, look, I'm gonna have to take it slow for you because you can't track. Okay, so I'm proving to you that when something comes into existence, it must have a cause and everything. So what I said to that is, I asked you if time is a measurement of change. You said yes. If what's it called? If something comes into existence and everything, and it was outside of time before,
Nope.
meaning it was out.
No, if something comes into existence,
Okay.
stop. If something comes into existence, that means that prior it did not exist. That doesn't mean that it did exist
Exactly, so
outside
it
of
didn't-
time.
It didn't actually experience time, huh? It didn't actually experience time.
Do you understand the difference between existing outside time and not existing?
Please, bro. Did it experience time or no? If it didn't actually exist, no, yes or no?
It did not exist, so of course it did not experience
Yes.
time.
Okay, thank you. So how did it actually change and everything?
It didn't change. Change would require a prior state. Stop. Stop.
Okay, so it
Stop.
comes into existence does not change.
Stop. The thing that didn't exist and then begins to exist, no, that thing is not changing. Changing requires a prior state of existence. When something comes into existence, its first state of existence, there is no prior state of existence for it to have changed from. Do you understand?
Yes. Okay. So you don't think when something comes into existence it actually changes?
Right. The thing coming into existence cannot have changed because it didn't have a prior state of existence. You understand that a change is a...
Things don't have to be.
Hold on. Do you understand that a change is going from a prior state of existence to a subsequent state of existence?
Do I agree that change? Repeat that.
Change is when something goes from a prior state of existence to a subsequent state of existence.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So if something is coming into existence, that's its first state of existence, right?
Yes. But
Can that thing have a prior state of existence if when a thing is in its first moment of existence, does it have a prior state of
Dude,
existence?
I understand. Yes, I understand what you're saying and everything.
That's
I
a
can't-
yes
I
or no
can't repeat
answer.
what you're saying, like, answer right quick.
Give the answer then.
Repeat what you said again. Repeat
You
what
just
said
said
right
that
there.
you could repeat it and you could answer it, so answer
Bro,
it.
okay, I'm talking about I can repeat your whole argument. I can't repeat what you just said. 'cause I
Fantastic.
kinda interrupted you right there.
Yep,
So can you repeat
fantastic.
the first
Answer the question, then you could repeat the whole argument, so you got it. You know the question. Answer the question.
Okay, yeah, so sure. His whole argument and everything was, but something coming into existence is not going to be a change because it didn't have a prior state to change in and everything. Is that your argument?
So what's the answer to the question?
Bro, okay, yeah. My argument, I'm gonna reject that notion because again, change is just going to be something moving forward. When you come into existence, you're moving forward.
So you said that change is going from a prior state of existence to a subsequent state of existence, right?
Dude, no, that's not what I said. Again, I
You
said
did.
change is going to be something moving forward.
I wrote it down when you agreed to it, man. You did agree change is going from a prior state of existence to a subsequent state of existence.
Can you show it right quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Hold on 1 second here, and let me kaboom, and it's right here. This is what I've been writing down. This was your argument that you were trying to give, that it was stupid.
Yes,
This
not
is what
really,
I
that didn't
said.
change.
Yeah, this is what I said, and
Yes,
you
that's what
agreed to
you
this. You agreed to this.
No, I didn't. I never agreed to that. What are you talking about?
What's really tough for you is that this is actually being recorded, and so I can show you agreed to it.
Sure, I mean, you can record your own L. I really don't care, bro. But what's it called?
Oh, okay. So do you agree or disagree that change is going from a prior state of existence to a subsequent state of existence?
No, because change is literally just going to be something moving forward.
No, I disagree with that. No, it's something moving because things
disagree
move.
with that?
Yeah, because things move backwards all the time. Watch.
Oh, things.
I just moved.
backward and change. Can you give me an example?
Yeah, right here. Hold on. Let me turn the notepad off. Watch me. Ready? I just moved backwards, and that was a change. Look at that.
Okay, as in
Look at
time
that.
so
I
you
moved
actually-
backwards,
you think
and it was a
moved-
change.
you think
I
moved
moved.
backward? This is sad.
Did I move backwards?
Dude, you know.
Did I move backwards?
Okay, I gotta ask.
Did I move
explain to you
backwards?
What time
Did I move
forward.
backwards?
It's not. Of course, it's not physically.
Did I
you
move
moving
backwards?
Forward. Bro.
Did I move backwards?
Oh my God, this is sad.
Did I move backwards?
Are you really running? Host, come on, please.
Did I
You're
move
embarrassing
backwards?
yourself right now, dude.
You know what's embarrassing? Not being able to
Bro,
answer yes
you're
or no
embarrassing
questions.
yourself, bro.
Dude, did I move
Please
backwards?
don't
Yes or
embarrass
no?
yourself. This is actually embarrassing, man.
I know. I am
You don't
pretty. I
understand.
am pretty embarrassed
Do you
for
even
you.
understand
I
time?
am quite
Do you
embarrassed
understand
for you.
time? Oh my gosh, bro, come on.
So yes or
Dude,
no,
this is
change is going
embarrassing.
from a prior state of existence to a subsequent state of existence.
Okay, watch this and everything. Do you think that time moved backwards and everything? Do you think that time actually moved backwards?
What question do you think you're answering?
Bro, please, can you answer? Do you think that time moved backwards?
Okay, so I'm not going to answer your derail question that you're just asking to get out of answering my question. So do you?
Because if you say yes, it destroys your whole argument. If you say no, you're just logically inconsistent, bro. Oh my gosh, bro, you're embarrassing yourself right now.
You know, I never said that time moves
You can use that
backwards,
little
right?
fake rhetorical laugh all you want.
You know, I never said time moved backwards, right?
Okay.
You know that I never said that, right?
What I'm-
Did I ever say that time moved
Bro, yeah, you
backwards?
don't have to say-
Did I ever say that time
bro,
moved
you just-
backwards?
okay, so the-
yes or no?
does
Did I
time
say that
move
time moved? Yes or no? Did I say that time
No,
moved
okay,
backwards?
does time move backwards? I'm asking you, does time move backwards? Because you're running right now.
Yes or no? Did I say that time moved backwards?
Dude, does time move? Why are you
Okay, I'm
running,
only.
bro?
You either get to you're going to commit or concede. If you
stuttering
don't
right
answer
now.
this question, I'm taking it as a concession. Did I say that time moved
A
backwards?
concession? Are you serious?
Okay, that's your
Are you serious
concession.
right now, bro?
Fantastic. Yeah, because you're not able to answer the questions. If you can't answer the questions, you can't engage in the conversation. That's a concession. I don't know what to tell you. All right. We will talk to, it looks like we have Xcratic next. If you're in the guest box or you're thinking about joining the guest box, please make sure that you are 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that provides rational justification for your God belief. Hi, Xcratic. Are you at least 18?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, are you at least 18?
Yeah, I'm 18.
Cool. And what God do you believe in?
I believe in the classical theistic God.
Which one?
It's just broad God of classical theism, so usually
Okay.
it's a monotheistic God.
Okay.
My question was...
Yeah, no, hold on. I just need you to say, I just need you to say that you deny Jesus and he is no one's savior.
Well, Jesus is under a classical theistic God.
I need you to say that you deny Jesus and he's no one's savior, or just admit that you're Christian.
Yeah, you can be Christian and a classical theist.
I understand. And I asked which classical theistic God you believe in, and you dodged it. So now you're either going to admit that you're Christian or you're going to blaspheme Christianity. So,
for the sake.
So are you Christian?
There's no difference. Yeah, I'll admit. But can I
Okay.
say why?
No, now you can provide the argument or evidence that gives us rational justification to believe in the Christian God.
Can I say why I said I was a classical theist?
Nope, you can provide the rational justification for your
Can I
theistic
say
belief.
it, or why are you not letting me justify?
Because I want to have a substantive conversation, not some bullshit about what terms you like to use. So go ahead and provide the rational justification for the theistic position.
Saying, if I say I'm a Christian, you're just going to go to emotivism, and you're just going to go based off.
Oh, so what you're saying is that you're reading my mind, and that's why you had to answer in a evasive, dodging way?
Well, what differentiates a classical theist and a Christian for you?
The fact that there are Muslim classical theists, that there are other classical theists who don't hold to a particular religion. So I just was trying to make sure that I understand your position. So I'm done with the meta. Do you want to have a substantive conversation or not?
Arguing for Christianity, I'm arguing for the classical.
I don't care. Do you want to have a substantive conversation? Yes or no?
You should. You should care if you want to have a good conversation.
All right.
Hey, Socratic.
Hello.
Hi. I'm a classical theist as well, and the thing is that with classical theism, it doesn't really tell anything on what specifically you believe as far as like denomination-wise or anything like that.
Yeah.
At best, it will let Ogar know, and Ogar knows me pretty well, so he's pretty familiar with classical theism and the type of bullshit we get up to. So he's already very familiar with the dogma of divine simplicity. He's already familiar with the idea of God being existence itself. So what he was trying to understand was,
I'm not a Thomist,
do you
but
like that? So the divine simplicity came from Moses Maimonides, who was a Jewish
no, I'm not
theologian.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about Actus Purus in your second comment, so I just told you I'm not a Thomist.
Yeah, well, the Actus Potens has to do with the type of logic structure. I didn't mention that at all as far as like the idea of divine simplicity. The only time I mentioned anything regarding classical theism was when I said in the comments that I'm a classical theist as well, and that there's Jewish classical theists. So
And
the
there are
thing
Muslim
about
classical theists.
theism, yeah, and I was about to get into that as well. Like you have Averroes out, and let's see, no, Avicenna was the one who was working to get rid of philosophy within their system. It was Al-Ghazali. But the point that I'm getting at is like the thing with classical theism is it just explains the structure and rules that you're working within as a theist, but it doesn't say whether you believe that it's the Torah. It doesn't tell if you believe in a triune God.
It does not
It
matter.
kind of it kind of does. It kind of does if the argument that you're trying to use is for a triune God.
Yeah, and that's what I'm
if
saying.
you
I'm
are
not saying it's for a triune God. That's my point.
Yeah, and no one told you that you were. I simply asked you to answer the question honestly,
why are you going
and you
on a
dodged the
tangent?
question.
I said it doesn't
It's not.
matter.
It's not a tangent. If it doesn't matter, and you're not ashamed of your position, then you can simply answer what your position is. But here's what. Okay. Yep.
Not necessarily for debate.
So okay,
So
here's
my
where we're at
question
now.
was,
So here we have two
so God
options.
is
We have two options to move
fiction,
forward.
God is
We have
fiction,
two options to move forward now. Either you can provide, either we can engage in substance and you can provide some kind of argument or evidence that would provide justification for your belief, or you can keep talking about meta and I'll just drop you. So which do you prefer?
Is your prompt bait?
Okay, fantastic. So more meta, and I said I would drop him for meta, and so I am sticking to my word. I appreciate you trying to help.
Yeah, but don't start talking bullshit about classical theism when I'm around.
Yeah, definitely. No, and I appreciate that you're pointing out, because yeah, I mean, you and I have had our conversations, many of them, and I have learned largely through our conversations quite a lot about the classical theistic position. So it's not like I am like baffled by someone being a classical theist. It's just like, okay, I have definitely, I haven't personally spoken with any Jewish classical theists, but I have had non-denominational classical theists come up and talk, and I've had quite a few Muslim classical theists come up and talk. So
have you spoken with Jackie in Ian's Discord?
No, she seems cool as fuck though.
Yeah, so she's very familiar with like Moses Maimonides and the Jewish classical theism. So she's not a big fan of the philosophy side of it. But if you want to get like just like strict math type stuff and like the history of the classical theism within Judaism, she knows her stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, hopefully I never really had an opportunity to talk with her, but like I said, she seems cool as hell. But yeah,
she's mostly in Blitz's server, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not super active over there. They're too smart for me over there. Not that people aren't smart in Ian's server or in the other servers I'm in, but like it's a different level. I can engage in like philosophy jargon most of the time, or philosophy babble, but it's a little bit harder when it comes to, you know, the physics, and I don't know, like I'm not a science guy.
I'm right there with you.
But no, I appreciate your help though. I do. So thank you. But we'll see if I can get another guest. All right. Yeah. So currently, don't have anybody looking to have the conversation. So if there is anyone who wants to discuss, you know, whether or not there's rational justification for God, if you want to provide an argument or evidence for your God belief, I'd be happy to talk. Yeah, I just ask that you are 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that provides rational justification for your God belief. How's it going over on the Tube of Views? Looks like we got, I mean, only a couple people watching over there, but considering this is my first time ever streaming on YouTube, I'm not super surprised, but hopefully it's still working correctly over there. I was actually kind of worried that my computer wouldn't be able to handle the multiple streams, but it seems to be doing okay, so that's good. That's good. The way that you can request to come up is the little icon next to the text box. It's got like, it looks like an icon of like two little people, one behind the other. You just click on that. It'll give you the option to request, and then you request. Well, I'm on a computer here. You said that your computer is rough, so thanks, Obelisk. I appreciate the confirmation. Yeah, I know, Thinker. You said your computer is not in the best of shape. That, like, I had to go specifically buy like the highest powered computer or that I could get, basically the highest powered computer I could afford. Which unfortunately wasn't super high powered. I'm not a wealthy man, so I just do my best. But yeah, if yeah, W is for Catholic Thinker in the chat. Like, I won't lie. Like, he and I have butted heads before, right? Like, we've had massive disagreements. I would say like our first probably first several interactions did not go well. You know, I will say that at least I did actually. I left the Discord. I actually said I was giving up on philosophy entirely because of you, Thinker. But I couldn't stay away. And I'm glad that I gave it another shot. And it seems that we were able to kind of iron out our issues. But, okay. So we will, looks like we have Dot wants to come up, and then Wubba. We'll see if we can have a good conversation with either or both of them. Hi, Dot. Are you at least 18?
Yeah, I'm 19.
Cool. And what God do you believe in?
I believe in the Christian faith.
Okay, cool. Sure. What would you say is the best argument or evidence that provides rational justification to believe in the Christian God?
Okay, so let's just say the Bible was all a hoax, right? It was just fake. It's completely fake, right?
Okay.
So
I'm way ahead of you.
No, okay, yeah. How can a book that's fake be able to cross-reference 60,000 plus times with complete accuracy?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. How many times do you think that Spider-Man comics reference other Spider-Man comics?
But the thing is,
that was a question. Can you answer the question?
Wait, what was the question again?
Do you think there are more or less cross-references between Spider-Man comics than the Bible? Or, I'm sorry, I phrased that question really weird. Which do you think has more cross-references, the Bible or Spider-Man comics?
I'm not too familiar with the Spider-Man comics, to be honest.
Okay.
But, I mean, if you know them, you could tell me if you want.
Well, like, have you watched the Marvel movies at all? Like, you know, like Infinity War or the Avengers movies or Captain America, any of those?
I've watched the movies. But I haven't like really read like comics like that, to be honest.
Sure, but you are aware, like, if you watch like the Avengers movies, they reference stuff that happens in like Iron Man, and they reference stuff that happens in Captain America, and they reference stuff that happens in Black Panther, and all that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that the fact that all of those movies reference each other, the same characters show up in all of them, they all have a consistent storyline that builds toward one big, you know, story arc, do you think that that means that the stories are true, or do you think that that means that the authors of each story know the prior stories and are able to cater their story to fit with the prior stories?
Obviously, they know about, you know, obviously they created that.
Yeah. So if I was going to write a brand new Captain America movie right now, I could go back and I could watch all the movies that Captain America has been in so far, and I could make sure that my new movie that I write is completely consistent with everything that happened in all the other movies Captain America has been in, right?
Yeah.
And I can do that even though Captain America doesn't actually exist, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we would agree that my ability to do that doesn't give us any evidence to think that Captain America is real, does it?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
But
so just having all the cross references in the Bible is exactly like Captain America movies referencing other Captain America movies or Avengers movies. I understand that there are a lot of things that sound similar between all the books. I understand that the books talk about some of the same characters in the same places and even the same storylines. I mean, there's like entire passages from that they'll be copied from one gospel to another. There's whole passages copied from one book to another in the Old Testament. Lots of that stuff happens. It's all over the place. It makes sense that it's consistent because the people writing subsequent books were trying to be consistent with the prior books. So I don't think that this gives us any evidence. So I'm just going to ask if there is anything else that we could look to that would give us some kind of evidence.
Yeah, okay. So I was actually gonna follow up with that because, you know, I mean the book, you have to realize that the book is actually thousands and, you know, like it's like super old, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's besides the point. I'm gonna go to another point, right? So let's just say if it was fake, why are there countless of testimonials and experiences across the world, and why are people being prosecuted or even killed for believing in something that's not even real? It doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, it's happening to Christians for the same reason it happens to Muslims. You have billions of Muslims on the planet. They all, you know, can tell you about personal experiences either they themselves have had or people that they know have had. They can all tell you about ways that Muslims have been persecuted for their beliefs. I mean, are you an American by chance?
Yeah, I'll say that.
Well, actually, maybe you're not old enough. I am old enough to. I specifically remember watching the towers fall on 9/11. Well, obviously I wasn't there, but I remember watching it on TV, right? I remember watching that stuff happen live. And I remember the years following that, how horribly Muslim Americans were treated just because of their religion. So I don't think that people, and I did not take that as evidence that Islam was real. I took that as evidence that people suck. And they were directing their anger and their vitriol at the wrong people. Because obviously, none of the Muslim people in America who were just as devastated by those terrorist attacks, none of them were responsible for the terrorist attacks, but people persecuted them for it anyway. That was wrong, but it doesn't make their religion true. In the same way, it's wrong for Christians to be persecuted just because of their beliefs, but that doesn't make their beliefs true.
Yeah. That makes sense. But cool. It's because I find it interesting how, you know, like there's like many like stories, videos regarding atheists, right? Like there's like a bunch of atheists who, you know, they.
I'm not worried about atheists right now. I just want to know what is the argument or evidence that would give us justification to believe God actually exists.
Another one I would say is probably
not to be a dick, but let's get a first one. You can't say another one because you haven't given one yet.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, so a point is that fine if I say another point then?
Yeah, I was being pedantic. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I apologize.
You're good. Yeah, you're good.
I'm being snarky.
So, another point is, okay, do you believe in the Big Bang? Like, do you believe that we just came from nothing? Like, we just came in...
No, the Big Bang doesn't posit anything came from nothing.
But, I mean... So it's just suggesting that it was always there, right?
No. The Big Bang says nothing about what happened prior to the beginning of expansion. The Big Bang is literally only about the expansion. It has nothing to do with that. Like, for example, if you saw me blowing up a balloon, we could come up with all kinds of explanations for how a balloon is expanding, how much air I'm putting into it, how that translates to the speed of expansion, how far the balloon material can stretch. We could have all kinds of answers and information about that, but none of those things would tell us anything about how long the balloon existed before I started blowing it up. So that's the question here. If we're going to talk about the beginning of the universe, it's not how long ago did the Big Bang happen or what do we know about the Big Bang. We would have to say, what do we know about the state of existence prior to the Big Bang? And the answer to that is, from a scientific perspective, we know absolutely nothing about the state of existence prior to the Big Bang. So we cannot say that anything came from nothing. We don't know. We don't know. And so trying to draw conclusions from a gap in our knowledge is a bad idea. So since we don't know anything about what was before the Big Bang from a scientific perspective, we cannot appeal to science to answer questions about that. We can appeal to science for evidence about what could have been before the Big Bang, but we don't have anything definitive. So what is the justification for why we should believe in a God?
Well, I mean, if it truly was that simple, I mean, we still don't know about how the universe came to be, but it just doesn't make sense how everything just came into be. We just somehow.
Hold on. You're saying that we don't know how things came to be, but it doesn't make sense how things came to be. How do you know it doesn't make sense if you don't know how it happened?
Look, no, because maybe we're not meant to know.
No, how do you know? How do you know that the way things came to be doesn't make sense if you don't know what that way is?
Well, because, like I'm saying, maybe because we're not meant to know.
No, that's not answering my question. You're saying I don't know how things came into existence, but the way they came into existence is strange to me.
I meant to say, like, it just doesn't make sense how, we don't know how we came. Like, how is it even possible that we all came into this planet and we just somehow everything just came into an existence? Like,
yeah, there's lots of potential explanations for that. Why should we think a God was involved?
Well, he's so, okay. Let's say hypothetically God was real, right? He would be all powerful when he had created everything, but how would it make sense if we just came from we just came out of existence out of nowhere because of it expanded? Like,
who thinks that we came out of nowhere?
Well, that's how most atheists believe. They
Nope.
just believe that we just came from nothing.
Nope. The only people that I know that think anything came from nothing are Christian theists, because Christian theists are the only, not every Christian theist, but a lot of Christians believe that God created everything out of nothing, creation ex nihilo. So those are the only people that I know of who believe that anything came from nothing. I don't know of a single atheist that believes anything came from nothing, and I certainly don't know of a single scientist who believes anything came from nothing. So since nobody thinks, at least nobody in this conversation thinks that there was anything coming from nothing, we don't have to talk about that anymore. So now that we're done talking about anything coming from nothing, because that's not relevant to the conversation, why should we believe in a God without referring to things coming from nothing, because neither of us believe that?
I mean, doesn't it really come out of nothing if it really expands, like, for no reason, though? Because you're saying that
when I blow up a balloon, does it get bigger?
Of course it does.
Does that mean that when the balloon began expanding, it came into existence from nothing?
No.
No. Okay, fantastic. So we agree that something can start expanding, and that doesn't have to also be when it began existing, right?
But
that was a simple question. Answer the question directly. Can we agree that when something began expanding isn't necessarily when it began existing?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So hold on. The Big Bang is only about the expansion. If what we want to talk about instead of the expansion is the beginning, then we shouldn't be talking about the Big Bang. So what evidence do you have about what happened prior to the Big Bang?
But how did that expansion happen, though?
Did you hear the question that I asked you?
No, I did.
Okay,
But
so
I'm
what was the
saying,
question that I asked you?
You asked me about the whole balloon thing. But
So you didn't listen to the question that I asked you?
No, because I'm trying to get to a point.
Okay, fantastic. If you're telling me that you're not capable of even listening to the questions that I'm asking you, you're not capable of listening to me when I talk, and you're just waiting for your chance to speak, then we can't have a conversation. So I don't want to spend 5 minutes on a 5-second answer. Okay, that's the problem here. You've refused to answer. I've given you many attempts, so I'm going to give you one more chance. Okay, and if you go back to the Big Bang or you go back to something from nothing, I'm just going to take it as a concession and move on. So what is the reason that we should believe that a God exists? Okay, that also works as a concession. Thank you. Okay. Hi, most atheists, I came from no thing. Yeah. Oh, cripes. Something from nothing. That was the entire conversation. And I don't know why I have to have that conversation so often. I don't know anyone other than certain types of theists I don't know anyone that believes something came from nothing other than certain Christians. I think I saw something from, thanks for the support, Meatball. That's fucking awesome. Thank you. I saw something from Catholic Thinker saying, thanks for the clarification. Yeah, you probably heard me originally saying that, all Christians, or implying that all Christians believe X, but obviously that's not the case. But anyway, I will bring Wubba up and hopefully have a good conversation. Hi, Wubba. Are you at least 18?
Yeah, I'm 25.
Okay, and what Christian? Oh my God, I can't talk. What God do you believe in?
I don't have any religious affiliation.
Yep, I didn't ask what religion you follow. I'm asking what is the God that you believe in? Does it have a name? Does it have, what qualities does it have? What do you know about it? What do you believe about it? Just please describe the God you believe in.
It's just a limitless mind.
Okay. And what would and I assume that it created the universe?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it an ultimate being?
I don't know what that means.
Sure. I'm just asking, like, is there anything in reality that doesn't depend on this limitless mind?
No.
Okay. So that's what I would define as ultimate, that everything else in reality depends on it. So that's all I mean by that. I wasn't trying to, like, use sneaky words and sneak something past you. But anyway, what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us rational justification to believe in this limitless mind version of God?
Yeah, it's some cosmological arguments, I guess.
Okay, do you want to present the argument?
Sure, I would say something like assuming SIA is true.
SIA?
It would be it's a form of entropic reasoning. So it's to say that whatever hypothesis predicts more observers is the hypothesis we should favor, since that sort of hypothesis would make it more likely where the observer, like you and I, would exist in.
Okay. Well, so I'm gonna tell you about, you may not know about Eunice, the universe farting unicorn. But she actually, under the hypothesis that Eunice exists, we would expect infinite observers. So, and in fact, we expect the largest kind of infinity of observers. So it's actually impossible for there to be any hypothesis that expects more observers than the Eunice hypothesis. So that means we should believe in Eunice, right?
Why would you expect more observers under the Eunice hypothesis?
Yeah, because the way that she works, her qualities are that she brings about infinite observers because she exists for infinite time and farts infinite farts, and every one of her farts creates a universe that has at least billions of observers in it, if not trillions in each one. So if we have trillions of observers in each of an infinite number of universes, then obviously that's infinite observers. And so you said whatever hypothesis predicts the most observers we should accept, and that hypothesis predicts way more observers than any other hypothesis I know, so we should accept the Eunice hypothesis, right?
No, that's just false. There's no
reason
hold
on.
For me to accept.
There's
no reason for
hold
me
on.
to accept the hypothesis.
So wait, how many observers does your hypothesis predict?
Right, in comparison to that of the
No,
atheist
how just the number. What's the number of observers your hypothesis predicts?
There isn't a set number. It's just more than that of the negation.
Okay, so you don't even know how many observers your hypothesis predicts.
No.
So you can't quantify it. So what you're saying is that the quantity matters, but you can't quantify it?
I'm saying that it's just more than that of the negation. That's all that matters.
Oh my God, Meatball, I love you. Meatball, oh, kisses. Oh my God, I love it. That is fantastic. Okay, so it sounds like you're just trolling at this point because I mean, just out of respect for your intellect, it's easier for me to believe that you're trolling than you're dumb enough to say this stuff seriously. So why don't we forget all the stupid stuff that you've said up to now, pretend that you're not actually that dumb, and let's try again. What would be actual good argument or evidence that would give us reason to believe in a God?
You just dismissed my entire argument with something.
Yeah, because I showed you that it's ridiculous. You don't actually agree with the premise that you put forward, and since you reject it, obviously I can reject it too. So do you have another argument, or do you want me to move on?
That's not why I rejected it. Like, I grant that, yeah, sure, let's just say your hypothesis you're supposing or saying that your hypothesis predicts more observers than whatever counter hypothesis I have. The question is, what are the reasons to accept that? Like that,
the reason to accept it is that it predicts more observers.
That's what's under contention.
No, you
Why
said
would I accept that it predicts more observers.
You said whatever hypothesis predicts more observers, we should accept. The Eunice hypothesis predicts the largest type of infinity observers. So obviously that predicts
what are the
more.
reasons to accept that?
I just explained the hypothesis to you. I explained it to you, and that it predicts infinite observers. Okay, maybe you can demonstrate it for me. How do you demonstrate how many observers your hypothesis predicts? You can provide an example for me to emulate.
We're just going to look at bare design, bare non-design. or in this case, there's one universe that was designed.
No. I don't want you to. No. Stop, Wubba. I don't want you to compare your hypothesis against a different hypothesis. I'm saying if we only are considering your hypothesis and nothing else, how do we determine how many observers it predicts?
We would have to consider it in light of the hypothesis.
Absolutely
It's a
not.
comparison.
No, we're not doing a comparison right now. No, we don't do a comparison until we've determined the number of observers each hypothesis predicts. So first we determine how many. Wubba, stop. First we determine, like, we're going to take hypothesis A, and then we determine how many observers that predicts. Then we take hypothesis B, and we determine how many observers that predicts. And we go all the way through all the hypotheses, determine how many observers they predict, then we compare them. So how do we do that first step for your hypothesis? How do we determine how many observers it predicts?
First, we examine the evidence. The evidence is simply you are an observer in a discoverable universe. That's the evidence that we're conditioning on. And then afterwards, we examine the parameter space. Presumably, we examine that of the designer. We can say something like, since the designer is an agent, this agent at least has sufficient or weak reasons to fine-tune the universe for observers to become scientists or for discoverability or whatever or whatnot. Then we would say something like that would predict more observers. Since
fantastic.
Hypothesis would.
Sure. So because we are observers in a discoverable universe and we can examine the parameter space, and we know that with the origin of the universe is one of Eunice's farts, we can tell that Eunice, being a hungry unicorn who eats a lot of hypotenuses and other mathematical objects, she farts a lot. And in fact, since she's existed for infinite time, she's exuded infinite farts, which has created infinite universes. We also know, because of Eunice's properties of wanting intelligent life, that each of those universes had millions, if not billions or trillions of observers. So we know that Eunice has created infinite universes, each of which had at least billions of observers. And so that is way more observers than your hypothesis. So under your parameter that we should choose whatever hypothesis predicts more observers, then we should obviously prefer Eunice over the Christian hypothesis, right?
Well, no, because the problem with your hypothesis is that you're baking in more assumptions than my hypothesis.
No, you just said, all you said, the only principle that we're using is whatever hypothesis predicts more observers, we should accept. And I've shown you a hypothesis that predicts more observers than yours. So by your logic, by the principle you put forth and brought into the conversation, we should accept the Eunice hypothesis. So either what you need to do is you need to either reject the principle that got you into this pickle, or accept that the Eunice hypothesis is better than the Christian hypothesis. Okay. Well, it sounds like you're not actually wanting to have the conversation. I will only allow so many dodges before I just have to move on. So I don't know what to tell you. Okay. I am absolutely Unitarianism is just fantastic. Okay. Well, Cookie Monster, you would have been next, but you can't calm the fuck down and stop screaming that you're in the Peace Box. Or Peace Box. I was looking at Peacemonger supporting. Thank you, Peacemonger. You won't stop yelling that you're in the guest box, so I will let you simmer for a second, and maybe you can come up after Kendall. Hi, Kendall. Are you at least 18?
Man, I'm 54 years old.
Okay. What God do you believe in?
I believe in God, the Almighty God.
Yeah, which God? Which Almighty God?
The God, the Heavenly Father.
Oh, like the Christian God?
The only God. There ain't but one God, son. There ain't but one God.
I understand that you believe in...
Heaven, the God that died for my sins.
Okay, so the Christian God, right?
There ain't but one God, boy.
Right.
There ain't but one God, son.
Uh-huh. And I'm just asking you a simple yes or no question. Is the one God you believe in the Christian God?
The Almighty God.
Okay. Well,
no
I asked... That's as many times as I can handle... It's as many times as I can handle asking such a simple question without getting an answer. I'm so sorry. All right, Cookie Monster. your opportunity quick because that guy was incapable of having a conversation.
What's going on, bro?
Hi, are you at least 18?
How you doing? Yes, I'm 21, March 3rd, 2005.
Cool. And what God do you believe in?
Can you give me 1 second? Let me fix one thing. Hey, can you hear me?
I can.
So I believe in the Christian God. I'm Catholic. So I've been following him. Sorry, you're kind of glitching out. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can.
Okay. So I
Seems like
believe
you're
in the
having a
Christian
pretty.
God.
It seems like
I'm
you got a pretty rough
Catholic,
connection there.
and-
That seems like there's a huge delay. I'm gonna count to 3, and then I want you to say 4. 1, 2, 3.
4.
Yeah, that was brutal.
We're good.
I'm going to ask you to get a better connection, and then I would love to chat with you. Unfortunately, there's no way to have a conversation with that type of delay. I apologize. I dodged again. You guys, you got me. I ran away again. I knew that he had a too good of an argument, and so I manufactured a fake delay so that I had an excuse to run. Hi, Jay Smithin. Are you at least 18?
Yes, sir.
Cool. And what God do you believe in?
Honestly, I don't know what type of God you're looking to debate for, but I just believe in like an existence of a higher power that's outside of space time.
Okay. Is it like a personal ultimate foundation to reality?
Like the God itself.
Yeah. Is the God you believe in a personal ultimate foundation to reality?
What do you like specifically mean? Like he's outside of reality?
No. Is it like the thing that like everything else in reality depends on?
I don't know, to be honest. I just believe in a higher.
Hello? Jay Smithin? Hello? Hello? Okay. Maybe it's my connection. I don't think my connection is a problem. Maybe Jay will come back. We'll try Cookie Monster again. Maybe he's got a better connection.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi. Can you hear me?
I fixed the Wi-Fi. Yeah. Sorry about that, man.
Oh, no, you're good. Now you took away my excuse to run away from your devastating argument.
I know. Well, I didn't raise the argument yet, so that's okay.
I just knew that it was going to be horrifying, so I was running away preemptively. But now you came back, and I don't have an excuse, and I'm scared. All right, what is the best argument or evidence that would give us justification to believe in the Christian God?
Yeah, so I'm Christian, Catholic. Can I ask you a question first? Is there something in your life that pulled you away from God, or is there a reason that you don't believe in Him?
The reason that I don't believe in God is because I care about my beliefs being true.
Okay.
Yep. That's it. I don't have like church hurt. I wasn't like, abused by anybody in religion. I was never mad at God when I believed in God. I wanted God to be real. And the reason why I started seeking truth in earnest is because I thought it would bring me closer to Jesus. Unfortunately, as soon as I actually started seeking truth with the goal of finding truth, I realized that the Christian religion could not be true.
Okay, so are a lot of your beliefs just in general based off things that you know to be true through evidence or like tangible like evidence?
I don't have any, at least to the best of my knowledge, I don't have any beliefs that aren't justified by some kind of argument or evidence, or preferably a combination of the two.
Okay, so I could understand that, like from a logistical standpoint. Like, yes, you want to believe things you can see and understand, and like have like physical evidence to believe. But
I'm not asking for physical evidence.
Yeah, well, you're looking for a reason that you could like evident.
Yeah. So, what is the rational justification to believe in a God? I'm losing you. Hello.
We leave in.
Hello. Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, it sounds like there's a huge delay again.
I'm all good. I'm all good on my end. So
what is the
point
rational,
I'm making is-
what is the argument or evidence that gives us justification to believe in a God?
Okay, so you don't need like my point is you don't need evidence or like tangible reasoning to believe in God, because God is like through faith, you know? Like just
No,
because you
I
don't believe in him because you can't.
I will not ever believe anything on faith. That is not something that I will ever do. So what is there a way that I can believe in God without using faith?
Yeah, there is.
Okay, fantastic. Then that's what I'm interested in.
Okay, well, I think one of the ways you can believe in God through faith is just reading
No,
the Bible.
not faith. Without faith. Zero faith. If faith is involved, I reject it already. So what is the reason why I should believe in God without that doesn't have any faith involved?
There is none.
Oh, okay.
That's not how it works.
Sure. Fantastic. Thank you for the concession. I accept the concession. Yeah, Fat Man 69. Fantastic argument, or fantastic point. Faith can justify any religion. What is it? Who is that? I don't understand. No, you can't come back up, Cookie Monster. You just conceded the argument. I'm asking for rational justification, and your position is there is not rational justification. That's a concession to the argument. Like, that's a concession to the debate. I don't know why I would continue debating with somebody whose position is, I don't have a point in this debate. Like, you don't even have a starting point. Like, I don't even know why I would, I don't understand at all. Yeah, so it is the case, as Fatman69 pointed out astutely, as his name would suggest, faith can literally justify any position. There is absolutely no position that you couldn't justify with faith, right? Yes, you did checkmate yourself, Cookie Monster. That's correct. You checkmated yourself. You literally, like, we started the game of chess. I moved my pawn to e4, and then you knocked your king over. Like, that was that. If we were playing a chess game, that was what just happened, right? Or let's say that you were white and you moved your pawn to e4, and then I responded by moving my pawn out, and then you knocked your king over. That's what happened. Like, that was the conversation, Cookie Monster. Not great. Not great. But we are past the time that I typically want to end. I did go quite a bit late last night. But I'm not going to go super late tonight. So we're going to go ahead and call it for the evening. I do appreciate the people that I was able to have some, actually, did I have a single good conversation tonight? I think maybe the best conversation we had tonight was the Argumentum ad Fireball from Jakob Boyka. That was probably the best argument that we got. Well, you didn't provide an argument, Thinker. You just were trying to rehab or explain the issue that the Phil Bros were having at the beginning of the stream. Did I give any evidence? Yeah, I gave evidence for my positions or my rebuttal. Good conversation. You're right. I did say good conversation. Yeah. So the best conversation I had was with you, Thinker. I would agree to that. But, well, I mean, if somebody wants to come up and discuss my position and why I believe it, we can do that. But again, I'm ending stream as I just explained. So I'm not going to continue talking to the comments. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and say thank you, everybody, for your time. Thank you for hanging out, people that support it. I really appreciate it. The last thing I always like to say before I end my lives is simply to remind you guys that tomorrow is not guaranteed. So make sure you take your opportunities to let your family and your friends know that you love them, how important they are to you, because you don't know how many opportunities are left, right? So thanks, everybody, and I hope that you have a good one. Oh, wait, how do I stop? Okay, I think I stopped the tube of you, and now we'll stop the TikTok. You guys take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time.